Hello everybody, my name is Megan. You're watching Miss Megan Knits. Links to all the Ravelry pages for the projects I talk about, as well as miscellaneous other stuff I talk about, will be in the description box below. Week 8, week 7, it's been a lot of weeks that we've been doing the whole COVID thing, and I'm very glad we're all social distancing, but also it's kind of a pain. Especially when it comes to hair color. Like, my hair is like bad. It's not red anymore, it's like this weird auburn color. Mom and I just ordered online this morning, esalon.com I think, to get custom hair color, and they didn't have any reds as bright as I would like, but I left them a note saying like, hey, you know, boost it, right? So we'll see what kind of hair color I get. So that should be interesting. I've never colored my hair at home before. I've had colored hair since the 8th grade, and now I am in college. But I've never done it myself. I've always gone to the salon because I've always been too scared to do it myself because I don't know what I'm doing. But given the fact that salons are closed, and even when they reopen, there'll be a swarm of appointments, so it'll be really hard to get in. I decided to try it myself at home. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. But yeah, so that's fun. It's been 2 weeks since my last podcast. I'm here on time, 2 weeks from my last podcast. I've been thinking about trying to do more kinds of videos than just podcasts. I've tried to do some book reviews, but they didn't end up being very popular with the analytics kind of perspective. People didn't seem to want to watch them. So I've been trying to see like what kinds of videos would you guys want to see from my channel other than just podcasts. Of course, I would still do the podcast every 2 weeks, but I was hoping to get some ideas for videos to do in between the 2 weeks. So, you know, if you have any ideas, comment below, let me know. Also going on in my life, finals. My history final was released and I did it. I wrote 3 essays and a couple of paragraphs about what I learned that semester for extra credit, because why would you not, right? And I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Now that the history final's out of the way, I'm a little bit less stressed. I've got a psych final coming up. It's all multiple choice, but there's like 138 questions. And I'm a little nervous about the subject material. I've been working on the study guide. The professor was really cool and posted it like halfway through the year, like this is what you're gonna need to know for the final. So I've been working on compiling a big document with all of the answers to all of that, so I can study that, and then I've been working on making Quizlets. So we will see how well I do on that. That one's on the 14th through the 16th. I can do it all at once or in chunks, but you can't go back to previous chunks, so you can't like look up the answers. Why is that truck driving very slowly? I don't know why that truck is driving very slowly. It's a roofing truck, I think. I'm easily distractible and my windows are open so I can have lots of natural light. So when I see things go by, I can't help but comment on them. My neighborhood is kind of a suburban, not really suburban, it's more spread out than suburban, but not really rural. And people come here for walks, or like we have a bunch of people who live in this big development, right? So people walk a lot, and they walk their dogs, they walk themselves, they bike ride, they walk 6 feet apart from each other and yell to each other across the street. It's really funny. But yeah, it's interesting to see people walk by. Normally I don't get that many people walking by, but because everybody's stuck in their houses from social distancing and stuff like that, more people are going for walks, including me. I've been going for a lot of walks lately with the dog, and with my mom, and with my mom and the dog, and I've been really enjoying getting out. It's actually been a really big thing for me. I've been going for walks by myself, which with my anxiety being really bad, leaving the house on my own is really hard. And I've been going for walks by myself as exposure to kind of get out and about and see the world. Not really, but get out and about and practice being on my own. And it's been going pretty well, actually. I've been really liking it. I've been thinking about doing a grocery store run on my own, so stay tuned for that, how well that goes. But yeah, I've talked for a while. Let's start knitting. Let's not knit. You can knit. I can't knit and talk at the same time. I can, but not all about this stuff at the same time. So you knit, I'll talk. So I only have one FO, and oh crap, I forgot my planner. I'll talk about it, but I won't show it. I just realized I've been bringing everything from downstairs where I generally knit up here to do the video, because everybody's at home, so I'm trying to hole myself in my room instead of being in the living room where I usually am, because I don't want to like disturb anybody. But that means I forgot to carry the Plaren up, so I'll talk about it, but I can't show it because I forgot to carry it up here. Anyway, I have one FO and nothing new to show besides the Plaren mat, but I can't show that, so nothing new to show besides the FO I've done, and everything else is a whip, because I go through phases, right? I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I go through phases where I cast on a whole bunch of new stuff and I finish up a whole bunch of stuff, right? Finish and then cast on, like a whole bunch. Like every project at once gets finished and then a new one casts on. And then I go for like weeks where I'm working on the same things. Especially now that finals are happening, I've been doing a lot of schoolwork, and so I haven't been spending as much time knitting, so things are just taking forever. And I'm sorry about that if that's not interesting to you to watch, but that's what I've got to show. Anyway, I mentioned in the last podcast, in my What's Coming Up segment, that I had a hankering for amigurumi. And I really wanted to do some amigurumi. And I showed a couple of books, and I had some stickies in there, and I was, talking about different things I wanted to make. And so I decided to pull one from the book, Hooked on Amigurumi by Melanie Morita. And I just, wanted something kind of quick and easy. So I ended up with this jellyfish. Look how cute he is. She, he, I don't know. It's a genderless jellyfish. And, let me see. What did I want to say about that? Jellyfish amigurumi. Let me see if I can find the picture of the jellyfish. This is the Jilly the Jellyfish pattern from the book Hooked on Amigurumi by Melanie Morita. The yarn I used was some cotton mill ends from my stash that I've told you about many a time, that I bought way too many of, and blah blah blah. This was a good project to kind of use some of them up, because I'd read cotton was really good for amigurumi because it doesn't stretch. Acrylic's good too, but apparently cotton is really good. So this is like a cotton blend of some kind, and it's really soft and squishy. I didn't overstuff it this time. I know I have a habit of overstuffing my amigurumi until they're rock hard and you can't squish them anymore. This one's nice and squishy. There was very little seaming. You had to sew on the tentacles individually. There's some curly tentacles and some straight tentacles. But other than sewing on the tentacles, there's no seaming. These is all whole body's one piece. You actually pick up through the back loop to make the second piece. So you knit one through the front loop only, and then you pick up the back loops. Not pick up. You crochet through the back loops to do the second portion of it. All these in this book are supposed to be very little seaming. I don't mind seaming, but it takes forever, so I'm glad there's no seaming. And this took me a day. Only a day to do this, and it was really refreshing to get something quick and easy done and out of the way, and I really liked it, but I haven't started any other amigurumis from the book. And I don't know why, because I really enjoyed this one, but I've been working on the other whips and just haven't gotten time to really create another one of these. Most of the patterns in this book use safety eyes. I think all of them do. I don't have safety eyes, nor do I like safety eyes. I've never tried them, so I can't say I don't like them, but I've never had them. So I guess I could have ordered them, but for a one-day project, I didn't think it was worth it. So I embroidered eyes. Let me see if I can show you. I embroidered eyes and a mouth with black embroidery floss. I've been trying to do French knots for eyes forever, especially since it would work on such a small project like this. Doing a little French knot would be adorable, but I cannot seem to get the French knot right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but like every time I try to do the French knot, the knot just pokes through the back. It's like, I don't want the knot in the back, I want the knot in the front where I can see it. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there, but I'll have to watch some more videos and get some more tips on that. Okay, so yeah, that's the jellyfish, Jilly the Jellyfish. I'm making this, I'm going to put this in my craft fair inventory. Hopefully somebody will like it. The plan is to do lots of amigurumis for the craft fair because I feel like they'd sell well, and also the craft fairs in my area, people don't generally do amigurumi, so it'd be like, I'd be unique. I wouldn't be copying anybody, I wouldn't be stealing anybody's ideas, and they're fun to do, so there we go. Let's see, what else have I got? That was my only FO. I've got 2 HOs both socks. I showed them both last week, so you'll know what they are. I finished one of each pair, but not a pair. So, I'll show you. This one is a vanilla ankle sock for Bear. Bear likes ankle socks, which makes my life easier because I don't have to knit the leg of the sock. The yarn is Peyton's Croy sock in blue striped rag. I have a cuff here. I didn't do a leg at all, so I went straight from the cuff to the heel. I did a French heel with a heel stitch, heel flap, and a garter stitch edging, which you can see. But it doesn't take away from the look of the sock too much, I don't think, and it makes it really easy to pick up stitches. Gusset, foot, standard toe. I used all these techniques from the Sock Knitter's Handbook, but honestly, for the toe, I don't need instructions anymore, and I'm getting pretty close to that point on the heel too, because I've done so many of them. I hope they fit. He can't try this one on because we're social distancing, so hopefully they fit. He asked for a little bit of a fit alteration from the last pair of socks I made him. He asked for a little more negative ease, which is funny because when I was measuring his foot for the original socks I knit him, the red ones, the DK ones, I'll link the project page. Basically, he was like, I don't want tight socks. I hate socks that are too tight. I don't want it too fitted. They're going to be too snug. I don't want tight socks. You know, can you make them not so tight? I'm like, fine. So I did like 10% negative ease, I think, on his socks because I knew I needed some negative ease. And he tried them on and he was like, they fit great. And then a couple weeks later, or months later, when I was wanting to make these socks for him, I asked him like, hey, the fit of your last socks, how do you like them? What do you want to change so that way I can make these better, right? And he said, oh, you know, they're a little loose. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I made these with 15% negative ease instead of 10%. So we'll see if these fit better or worse, or if they're too tight. I don't know, but we'll see. I had the second sock. I'll show you the second sock. It's underway. It's in progress. By the way, this project bag is a really cute little rubberized bag I got from Target forever ago in their dollar section in the summer. And it's made for like kids to hold like beach toys or whatever, or snacks or something when they go to the beach. But it's like really heavy duty and it's cute and it has a drawstring and I like it. I bought two. And I use the other one when I go on walks with my dog to carry like dog poop bags and a mask in case I need to interact with somebody. I have a mask with me and, you know, anything you need to carry along on your dog walk. So, but they make great project bags. So that kind of shows you that you can find a project bag anywhere. You know, you just gotta look for a fun bag that you like, that's the right size. Okay, so this is the next one. I've been zooming along here. I have had the biggest issue with the yarn tangling. Now the first sock was already wound. Like I wound the ball for another project and then didn't use it. So I had a ball wound ball that I was pulling from for the first sock. So I had no problems at all. The second sock, I'm like, well, it's a skein. It has a center pull. Let me just use the center pull from the skein because I'm lazy, right? Not with the skein. Bad idea. Because this particular skein tangled like you would not believe. Like, so much. I had to cut the yarn in like 2 places. It was tangling so bad. Like, it wasn't just regular yarn barf. It was yarn barf, but then they had fuzzes from the wool that were like felting everything together and like, oh my god. Thankfully, my mom really likes untangling yarn. She finds it relaxing. So she untangled a couple of the knots for me so that I can make sure the stripes didn't mess up. Because if you break the yarn and then join it again, you might have a different stripe pattern, you might have a different, so I was a little worried about that, but she managed to untangle a lot of it for me, but I'm still like, there's going to be more yarn barf coming. Like, you can see it in there. So I'm not happy with my pulling from the skein experience. Mom's always like, why would you ever wind a ball from a skein, you know, whatever, and I'm like, this is why. This is why. Okay. Okay, Peyton's Croy, blue striped rag. And that's that. Put this away. But yeah, that sock is gonna have like 12 ends to weave in or something. Not 12, but maybe like 8 ends to weave in because I have to keep breaking the yarn and joining it again to untangle the knots, and it's gonna be a lot of weaving in ends. The first sock had two ends, one at the beginning, one at the end, but the second sock is gonna have like a lot. I don't mind weaving in ends, but it's frustrating when it's because of this, you know what I mean? Okay. My next, what am I saying? My next HO, that's what I'm saying, is I'm calling it Mom's Lacy Cable Socks because they're lacy cable socks for my mom. Oh, that shows up really well with the window right there. The window's right behind you. So this is the finished sock. You can see it has both lace and cables. I'm having issues. The phone is like angled a little bit, so showing the camera things is being difficult for me. Like I'm not coordinated enough to do it. But there we go. That's a really good view of it. This is Wool-like Loops and Threads Wool-like in navy. And this is actually an acrylic nylon blend. And you don't think acrylic sock yarn would work very well. I've made socks out of this yarn for my dad and he really likes them. He says they don't make his feet sweat like you would think of with acrylic. And this yarn is really soft. My mom likes this yarn so much. She is working on a shawl in it and she's working on a sweater in it. And now she's gonna have a pair of socks in it because I'm knitting these socks for her. But she really likes the yarn. It's really soft, it's really squishy, it's really thin. It's a light fingering weight yarn. And it's really good quality and it's $3 a skein at Michael's. So you really can't go wrong with $3 a skein. Let's see. What else did I say? Oh, I used, get my stuff here, the Up Down All Around Stitch Dictionary by Wendy Bernard. And I used the Lacy Cables, or I am using the Lacy Cables pattern in this dictionary, which looks like this. That's the pattern I'm using. I'm just working right from the book. I have highlighter tape, which is sticky like a Post-it, not sticky like tape. And I've been underlining the row in the chart that I'm doing and just moving the tape up. It's nice, but because I'm using it so much, there is sticky residue getting on the book. It's not damaging the book really, like you can still read everything, but there's a little bit of stickiness, tackiness to the book. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that off. This isn't like paper, this is like that laminated glossy paper stuff. I mean, not laminated, but that glossy paper stuff, you know what I'm talking about? So it's working pretty well. Oh, so the construction of the sock. 1x1 twisted rib cuff for 1 inch. I did 2 repeats of the Lacy Cables pattern. It comes out to around 7 inches. I did the Eye of Partridge heel, although I messed up a little bit, but you can't really see because it's navy. Eye of Partridge heel flap and gusset heel, French heel. Same heel I did on Bear's sock, except this one I did Eye of Partridge, and on his I did heel stitch. Heel stitch is easier. I prefer heel stitch, but I thought Eye of Partridge would look a little nicer on this sock. And then I did not do patterning on the bottom, of course, because you don't want to be stepping on lace and cables. And I did patterning on the top in the instep. And then I did the toe. Now, the only thing I had an issue with is this was like the design part of it. This Lacy Cables pattern is an 11 stitch repeat. And most sock heel and toe instructions are for socks with multiples of 4. And that's not going to work because I needed 66 stitches for the leg. But then somehow I had to translate to 64 stitches to do the toe. It's actually not that hard. When I knit across before I did the heel, right, to get into the right position, I decreased 1 stitch. Like I just knit 2 together somewhere random. And then I did the heel on half the stitches, so it would be 32 stitches. And then I had 33 on the instep. And then for the whole foot, I had 32 on the bottom and 33 on the instep. And then when it came time to do the toe, I had decreased 1 on the instep. And then I had 32 and 32, which makes 64, so I could do the toe. But my brain had like a mental block, like, how am I ever going to do this? The stitches are the wrong numbers, and I don't know what to do. But it really wasn't that bad. I just snuck a knit 2 together in there, and we're all good. Let's see, did I want to say anything else? Oh, I am using, so this is the second sock that I'm working on right now. I only just started it the cuff is done. I have to start the patterning. I haven't started the patterning yet. 1x1 twisted rib cuff, nothing special. I want to talk about the ginger needles I was talking about earlier. I was a little afraid of using these needles because they're wooden and they're tiny. And wooden sock needles tend to break. But these have still been going strong. I've been doing cables, I've been doing lace. They're not quite, I don't want to say they're not pointy enough because clearly I need a whole sock on them, they're fine. But they're not as pointy as I would like for doing lace work, but that's because they're wooden, and if you had a really pointy tip, the tip would break. So I'd rather have a tip that doesn't break than have a super pointy tip that does break. Also, the hero, the real hero of these socks is my task lamp that I have sitting next to my spot on the couch. I just shine it directly on the sock and I knit and I can see every stitch. It's beautiful. But you can see how, like, when I hold it over here, it's kind of hard to see what you're doing. When I hold it this way, it's good because the window has the nice bright light, but it's kind of hard to see. So the task light has been the real champion of this sock process. Let's just put all this away. Hungry, I didn't eat breakfast. It's like, what time is it? 9:21 in the morning, and I haven't eaten breakfast yet because I was so excited to do this video. I put on makeup and I put on my outfit and I got all my stuff up and I realized I forgot to eat breakfast. So I'll have to eat breakfast when I'm done because I am hungry. Gotta drink some water because my throat is like, ah. My Salesforce mug. I feel like all of my family's water bottles are just free stuff my mom gets at conferences. Getting water on my nose. How am I getting water on my nose from drinking? Okay. Okay. My whips that are just plain whips. They're not half finished, they're just whips. For one, I've been talking about for a while my gooseberry shawl. I have started the second section. I'm like 2/3 of the way through the second section. And you can see, here it is. Is that the back or the front? That's the front. You're looking at the front. Okay. This shawl and I have had a journey. We've had our moments. We've had our arguments. I feel like this shawl is like my teenage daughter, right? I don't have a teenage daughter, but if I did, I feel like it would be like this shawl, right? Like, I am so frustrated, but I love it, but I'm frustrated and it's coming out great, but I'm frustrated at the whole process and it's just tedious and I'm making mistakes and having to fix them, and yeah, it's like a teenage child. Really, it is. Oh, I forgot to mention, both of those socks I was knitting are on size 2s. This shawl pattern is on size 5s. These are the Knitter's Pride marbles. I don't think they're in, I don't think they're making them anymore, actually. But Knitter's Pride marble size 5 is what I'm using for this, on a 40-inch cord. And I will show you my rocks and shells section, because this right here was the towers and grasses section I showed you last week, last 2 weeks, last podcast. And this one is the rocks and shells section. So this is pebble stitch right here, this gray stitch. I don't really need to put my hand behind it, I don't think, or maybe I do. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, please cooperate with me. Oh, okay, thank you. Sorta, thank you. So it looks like little pebbles. And then in the middle, we have shells. So these are my garter cockle shells. Now, of course, this is a top-down shawl, right? So I should be showing it to you the proper way, shouldn't I? Pebble stitch looks basically the same. But the shell stitch looks really cool, if I can get you to see it. I can't tell if you can see that or not. Maybe this, okay. Put my hand behind it. There we go. So you see I have these shells coming out. And the cool thing about that shell stitch is there's no purling. I got it from a book, 50 Fabulous Knit, not 50, I don't think they're 50. I don't know how many there are. Fabulous Knit Garter Stitches, anyway. And there's no purling in the whole book. like no pearls. And I'm taking 2 stitch patterns for the shell from that book, one for the birds and one for the shells, and there's no purling, which is kind of interesting because I guess some people hate purling so much that they will not do it. And I think that's cool to have all these patterns that are really pretty based on garter stitch. But I don't mind purling, but some people do. So if you do, that's a book to check out because you could do really complicated stitches and stuff. They have some pretty tricky maneuvers in there, but no purling. So anyway, that's that. The yarn I'm using is BC Garn Bio Shetland in flannel gray and pebble, and also for the next 2 sections, sapphire at the very bottom. And can I get my hands on it? Can I get my hands on it? Can I get my hands on it? Nope, that's not it. Is this it? Yes. Sheep nougat. Sapphire and sheep nougat. So it's gonna be sheep nougat for the sand and sapphire for the water. And this is all based on Gooseberry Island, a beautiful island, of course closed now because of social distancing, but really fun to take a walk there. It's a beautiful place. So I kind of was inspired by all the different elements there to make a shawl with all these weird stitch patterns. And my foot fell asleep. To make a shawl with all these weird stitch patterns. So that's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. It's probably going to be just for me at this point. I was thinking of designing it, publishing it, and doing the whole rigmarole, but I don't know if it's coming out so good that I want to do that, and also, like, I'm anxious about the whole process of test knitters and tech editors and all that stuff, so not doing that, probably, but still gonna make the shawl for me. That's what I've decided. And then if I end up liking it, I have been taking notes on my process and stuff, so I can write up the pattern if I wanted to in the future sometime. So that's kind of how that's going. Please don't get tangled on the zipper of the other bag. Thank you. Okay. One more whip. Well, okay, 2 more whips, but one I can show you. Is the Triple Puff Granny Square Blanket by Elaine Allosair. Elaine Allosair? Elaine, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the squares are gorgeous. The pattern is about $1.60 on Ravelry for a PDF, or you can go to her blog and get it for free with detailed instructions, but you can't, it's not like a printable friendly version. So either way, you can do that. I really should pay for the pattern if I'm making a whole bedspread out of it, but I got it from her blog and then I memorized the pattern, so I keep forgetting to go buy it, honestly, because I'm not like looking for it or anything. But I should pay for it if it's $1.60 and whatever. She uses fingering weight yarn in hers. I'm using worsted. The yarn I'm using is a wide variety of Scraps and Stash from probably every brand. I've got Lion Brand, I've got Red Heart, I've got, you know, Loops and Threads, I've got, you know, Nicole, I've got like everything. So Karen, I've got. So it's just a mixed bag of a bunch of stuff from my stash that I thought looked good together, and I'm making a granny square blanket out of it. So my progress so far, I've blocked a lot. So I'm going to show you, I've blocked. This is a stack of 11. I've been tying them together in stacks of 11, so I don't have to keep counting them. Because I know I want 13 rows of 11, or 11 rows of 13? 13 rows of 11, I think. For my queen size bedspread, to make 143 squares. So, I've been tying them together in chunks of 11, so I don't have to keep counting them. So this is 11 blocked squares that you've already seen, except you didn't see them blocked. That's 11. And then I have a bunch more that I just pulled off the blocking board. I am blocking these with steam because all of the yarns are 100% acrylic and they don't respond to water, they respond to heat. The color combinations I'm getting, are from the Spin the Wheel app. I loaded all of my colors into the Spin the Wheel app and just spin the wheel and just do whatever it says, with the rules of the last granny round has to be gray and the middle and the border are the same. And those are my rules that I'm following. But other than that, I just spin the wheel to figure out what color comes next, and it's really fun and it comes up with really interesting combinations. Now it's worth showing you. I have 3 that I haven't woven and the ends are blocked yet. This one doesn't even have a border yet. But look how crunched up this is. Like they all look like that, right? Like kind of scrunched and crunched. And then look at this one. The corner's curling in a little bit because I'm not perfect with blocking, but it's much better, right? Like I'd rather seam this than seam this. So that's kind of why I'm blocking them. I'm blocking them before seaming them, and then I will do a final block of the whole bedspread once it's blocked, once it's done. So I have another one, and another one, and another one. I'm just gonna rapid fire show these to you. Anything else I wanted to say? I crocheted about 11 squares, either included in this that I'm showing you right now, and then I blocked a whole bunch. Again, I only have 3 that aren't blocked. And I will count them for you in a minute. I know I have more than 11 here, but I just pulled them off the blocking board so I didn't have time to tie them together. Really like this one. Really like this one too. This one's the first one I did. There we go. So that's kind of my combinations. Let's see. Oh, and then I have the ones that I need. This one still needs the border on it. I didn't have time yesterday when I was doing it. This one and this one. I've been weaving in my ends. I talked about that last video. I do the very pink weaving in cotton ends because those acrylic yarns are sometimes kind of slippery, and also it's quicker and easier than doing like the proper weaving in ends way. The proper way is a little bit more invisible, but it's for me. I don't really care, so that's kind of what's going on. They're pretty hard to see the ends. Like you can't, they're not so obvious. This is the back, so they're not so obvious that they're popping out on you. They're really secure. I'm still loving this blanket. Still excited for it. Still crocheting squares. Still working on it. I am not giving up on it yet. It seems like I would because it's such a big project, but no, I am determined. I am gonna finish this. So, still happy with it. It's not like my teenage daughter. It's like, you know, I don't know, a puppy or something that you want to just like love and squish. Yeah. I may run out of yarn. I don't know if I have enough yarn or not. I don't have enough gray, I know that. But I don't know if I'll run out of yarn. So if I do, I'll just order more. You know, I was hoping for this to be a completely from stash project, but I don't think I have enough yarn in my stash in all the right colors to do that. So I'll have to order more if I need it. But we'll see. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Oh, the squares, number of squares. So this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 finished. And then one needed a border, and then of course 3 of those need ends woven in. So 33 or so squares out of 143, which means I have 111 more to go. No, 110 more to go. Right? Yeah, 110 more to go. That's exciting, right? 10 more bundles. Okay, let me just plop those over there. The hook I'm using is a 5mm hook. This is the Knit Picks Bright Crochet hook. I've been using the Knit Picks Bright Crochet hook for all my projects, really. I have the set, and that's what I'm using. Okay, Plarn. I was going to talk about Plarn. I resisted starting the Plarn mat. Like, I made a bunch of Plarn and then resisted starting crocheting because I was like, I'm not going to make it perfect. It's not going to turn out beautiful. I don't know what to do. But, like, it's more important that one gets made that someone can use than it is that it looks absolutely perfect. You should try to make it look as best you can, of course. Like, you're giving someone a gift. You should make it as best you can. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, something that's practical that you need to use, and it's better to get one out there to somebody than to hold off because it's not perfect. So the Plarn mat I'm talking about is a mat for the homeless you can sleep on, that they can sleep on, and it's like a sleeping bag kinda, and you can use it for a lot of different things, like a blanket or something if you wanted to. I have a pattern on Ravelry. It's a free pattern PDF download for all of the instructions for making Plarn and making the mat. I have it both in a condensed printer-friendly version and a long version with pictures. So feel free, download that, check that out. that's what I'm talking about. There's lots of pictures of that on there, and then I linked all my projects to it so you can see all these other Plorn mats as well. I decided for this one I'm going to do some skinny stripes. Usually I do big color block stripes, and for this one I'm just going to do 1 or 2 balls of yarn at a time in different colors and make stripes that way. I'm still working on mats. Even though there's COVID, there's still a need for mats. I have not been able to go to church, right, because of COVID. We've been doing Zoom church, but I've been making the mats, and I was thinking, oh, so when church comes back, I'll just bring, you know, 2 or 3 or however many I make to church, and they can put them on the truck and take them. But now that it's looking like it may be a long time before we get back to normal, I'm thinking there must be some way to drop it off at someone who does go on the truck and they can take it or something like that. So I'm gonna have to ask for a social distancing way to deliver the mat, because the truck is still operating. The homeless still need food and clothing and mats and everything. So I need to figure out a way to get that mat to the people who need it, because it's not doing any good sitting in my coat closet all wound up in a bundle. Like there's no practical benefit to that, so we'll see. That is all of the things I'm working on right now, but I always like to do a segment called What's Next? Like, what is in my head in circulating, like what might I do next? And of course I don't always do what I say I'm gonna do next, but it's a guideline, right? It's like what am I inspired? So of course, as always, more Plorn. Plorn never ends until I run out of bags, and then you go to church and pick up more bags, and then you do more Plorn. So I've been doing Plorn. I've been dreaming of garments in my closet. Like, I want to wear hand-knitted garments, and I've been like going on Ravelry and making a bundle of like my dream closet of like all the things I'd want to wear. You know, some things are more fun to knit than they are to wear. But I wanted to pick shapes that I knew flattered me and like everything, like I want to wear this stuff, but I don't have enough yarn in any one type to knit a garment. I don't have a sweater quantity of anything at the moment, so that'll have to wait, but I'm very excited to knit garments pretty soon, just because I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about it because I'm excited about it. That's great. That's a sentence right there. Most of my time will be plugging away on these whips because I really want to get them done. I want to have another finishing spree, so I've got to plug away. Especially during finals, starting something new might not be the best idea because then I won't get to work on it very much and I'll be disappointed. Or I will work on it and I won't study as much as I should, so not the best idea. I've been thinking about making socks for myself. Now, the socks that I've made in the past for myself have been a toe up after that heel sock, right? And they fit circumference-wise, but the heel doesn't stay on my heel. Like, my heel doesn't fit in the heel pocket very well. They don't fit very well on me at all. So, like, the heels start slipping down around my foot and end up on the ball of my foot instead of, not the ball, the arch of my foot instead of the heel. It just doesn't fit and they're not super comfortable. So, I'm like, why would I keep making socks with that pattern if that particular style of heel does not fit my particular style of foot? And I know I have a really high arch. That's just part of me, right? Part of my body, I have a high arch. So I need a heel probably with a different type of heel. A sock with a different type of heel. So I have the Sock Knitter's Handbook, which has lots of different heels and toes. I have access to the internet with lots of different heel and toe patterns. And I'm like, well, why don't I just start making socks and experimenting with different kinds of heels and toes and seeing what I like. And I'd experiment on myself because if they don't come out quite right, it's just a sock for me. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'm trying to create something perfect, right? So that's the perfect time for experimentation. And I'm really excited to kind of get a bunch of sock yarn and just make like, you know, different types of heels and different types of toes and see what I like the best and mix and match and then eventually create my perfect sock pattern to fit my foot perfectly. Like my perfect foot sock pattern. Foot sock pattern? Yes. Foot socks. As opposed to your eye socks or your ear socks or your hand sock. These are your foot socks. I've also listened to a Knit Picks podcast recently about dyeing yarn and that sounds really fun. I don't have any yarn that I could try it on right now, but I think it would be really interesting and really fun to do. And I think that if I get a couple of cheap skeins of sock yarn bare from Knit Picks or from somewhere else, then I could dye the yarn and knit the socks and do like dyeing yarn experiment and sock experiment like together. I would use only food safe dyes. That's what interests me, is, you know, turmeric and coffee grounds and avocado pits and onion skins and those kinds of things. I wouldn't so much, and I'd experiment with other spices too. We have a big spice cabinet full of colorful spices, so I'm not interested in like acid dyes or dyeing professionally or anything like that. I'm just interested in kind of experimenting with like Kool-Aid and a crock pot, you know, like experimenting with stuff like that. So we will see if I end up doing that. It'd be really interesting to get different effects on socks from dyeing yarn. That'd be cool. I have so much I want to do. Oh, what am I saying? More amigurumi. More amigurumi. I was telling you I want to do more amigurumi, and I actually sticking two. The first one is Starla the Starfish, and I'm going to be using, I actually have the yarn picked out for it, Loops and Threads Impeccable in the colorway Pumpkin. And I have the octopus. Where is the octopus? I don't know where the octopus, here's the octopus. Inky the octopus. And for him, I would use Red Heart with Love. Oh no, I wouldn't. I was thinking of doing Red Heart with Love in the teal one. But this is Studio Classic by Nicole in Orchid, which I think I would use. Because my light colors are all, like her book is using very pastel colors, but all my pastel colors are going into that blanket. So I am trying to use more bold colors. Or some cottons or something, you know. Things that I'm not using for the blanket. Also, I was trying to, I have a big 5 pound or 10 pounds or a bunch of pounds box of fiber fill that's like big in my basement, but that's not practical for like carrying upstairs and using. So I put some fiber fill in a Ziploc bag, a gallon size Ziploc bag, just stuff some fiber fill in, that's plenty, right? And I showed Bear and he was like, that looks like drugs. It's not drugs, it's fiber fill. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Speaking of Bear, you see my nails? I asked him what color I should do them and he said rainbow. So I did rainbow polka dots on my nails. I'm not a hand model. You see these pictures on like Pinterest and Instagram of people doing their nails and they're all like, oh yes, my nails are so perfect, right? And they're perfect hand poses and they're perfect lighting. Like, I can't do that. I am not that talented. Plus I have a tremor, so doing art on my nails is hard for me because my hands shake. But dots I could manage, so I did like confetti dots. Okay, so, oh wait, I still have squares on my lap. Did I count those when I counted my squares? I don't know, maybe not. Oh yeah, so much to do, so little time, but I'm working away. Hopefully after finals, I have, I think, a couple weeks before summer semester starts. I am taking a sociology class in the summer. And then I have bio and English in the fall, in person. Well, supposed to be in person, but given COVID, we don't know. So we'll see. But I am very excited to, I'm not really excited for school, but I'm excited to have a couple weeks off to just knit and knit and knit and knit and knit to my heart's content instead of having to type up study guides and run through Quizlets and take quizzes and, you know, do homework assignments and like, it's just a pain. So I'm very glad that I have all of that stuff done, or I will have all that stuff done, and I can just work on my knitting. So hopefully next podcast will be a little bit more interesting. Thank you so much for watching. My Instagram is Miss Megan Knits. My Pinterest is Miss Megan Knits. Do I have anything else? Instagram. My Ravelry is 321TIKA. Trying to think of anything else. My email, MissMeganKnits@gmail.com. And my YouTube channel is right here. You're on it. You're watching it right now. So you can subscribe to that if you would like. Thank you for watching. I said that already. I always say that like 6 times at the end of my videos because I never like, I haven't mastered the conclusion yet. I've mastered the intro. Like I'm doing pretty good at the hello, you know, everything, all that stuff, right? Like I've got that. But the conclusion is a little bit harder. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you in a future video. Bye!